U.S. President Donald Trump says he'll impose a 10% global tariff and continue ahead with alternative measures after the Supreme Court ruled his sweeping tariffs exceeded presidential authority on Friday. The ruling dealt a major blow to Trump, striking down what has been one of the biggest pillars of his economic policy. The U.S. president seemed unfazed, however, and says with the new 10% levies he plans to introduce, Washington is set to make even more money than before.
We are doing the various investigations necessary to put fair tariffs, or tariffs period, on other countries. So we're doing that period, but we're immediately instituting the 10% provision, which we're allowed to do. And in the end, I think we'll take in more money than we've taken in before.
Trump's tariffs have been in deliberation at the U.S. top court for months. 6 of the 9 justices voted to outlaw his sweeping measures, which went into effect in August. The ruling puts much of the revenue earned from tariffs in question, and also trade deals brokered by the Trump administration, including the one with the European Union.
The E5 group of defense ministers of Poland, France, Germany, Italy and the UK, and online Ukraine, met in Krakow on Friday. They were accompanied by the EU's head of diplomacy and NATO Deputy Secretary General to discuss the continent's security. This group, representing the 5 biggest military spenders, focused on drone and anti-drone systems, the military equipment that is currently most needed. The Polish minister emphasized that unmanned system had caused a revolution during the war in Ukraine. The ministers signed an important commitment to jointly develop drone missile capabilities, low-cost joint production and joint purchases of drone effectors. The ministers discussed key issues of security and cooperation in Europe, such as support for Ukraine, development of the arms industry and production capabilities, strengthening operational readiness and countering hybrid threats.
Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez has signed an amnesty law that could lead to the release of hundreds of jailed politicians, activists and journalists. Rodriguez had announced she would release a significant number of detainees last month, a promise that increasingly came under more pressure. For weeks, relatives and friends of political prisoners held vigils outside detention centers, with some staging hunger strikes and campouts to demand the freedom of their loved ones.
Estábamos esperando esta noticia que de verdad motiva mucho a uno porque de las condiciones como estábamos acá era muy difícil, entonces de verdad que contento por eso. De verdad que sí, de llevar a nuestros familiares a la casa, que ellos se sientan bien, porque de verdad que ellos no merecían estar allí, porque primero no eran ni delincuentes.
Entonces no es necesaria la ley de amnistía porque ellos no tienen nada que perdonarle, ellos son personas trabajadoras, honestas.
The decision marks a dramatic shift for the South American nation, as the country's authorities have long denied holding any political prisoners. It also marks a significant policy reversal since the United States raided Caracas last month and captured Nicolás Maduro. Barcelona's Sagrada Familia Basilica has reached its peak height. A 70-meter-high white cross now stands on top of the Tower of Jesus Christ, the church's central piece. As Catalan architect Antoni Gaudí had planned, the cross has 4 arms so its shape can be recognized from any direction. The Tower of Jesus Christ is part of a set of 18 towers originally conceived by Gaudí. He designed the Sagrada Familia more than 140 years ago, with the first stone of the monument placed in 1882. The iconic monument already became the world's tallest church last year, after another part of its central tower was lifted into place. Millions of tourists visit the Sagrada Familia each year, and entrance fees largely fund the ongoing construction. The full completion of the Sagrada Familia is still expected to take a decade's time.